Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Nitty Grit. Thank you all for joining me tonight. I know that you could be anywhere, but you are here, and I appreciate you being here. Y'all, it's going to be a great show tonight, and I'm really excited for my next guest that's coming on tonight. Welcome, Facebook. Welcome, YouTube. Every single one of you. I appreciate you. So as you guys know, this is Mental Health Awareness Month, and it's also Mother's Day on Sunday, right? So for all of my mothers out there, happy Mother's Day to you all. My next guest has an incredible story. She's an incredible woman. She's done some great work in this area of mental health awareness. And without further ado, y'all, I just want to bring her on so you can meet her personally yourself. Welcome to the conversation, Amy Arends. Hello, Amy. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. Yes. Welcome. How are you?
Thank you. I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
I am so glad you could be here. I know that you're going to serve us some good stuff tonight, and I cannot wait for the people to hear a little bit more about you. So we met on Alignable, right? Does a lot of people know about Alignable? Did you know a lot about it?
Together. I think a lot of people still don't know about it. I say Alignable and they're like, what is that?
They're like, what is that? Yeah, before I hopped on, I was like, what is Alignable? But I'm glad that I hopped on because I got a chance to meet you. And so I know this is our first time today actually meeting each other person to person. So I'm really grateful you are here and we get to have this conversation. So I really want to just, before we get started into the questions, I really would like people to just know a little bit about you, like what you do, who you are, what you're about, all of that good stuff. So if you could tell them a little bit, that'd be great.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm Amy Arends, Holistic Wellness Advisor, mental health activist, and a life coach. And I believe being mentally healthy is just as important as being physically healthy. It is crucial to have that self-care and self-love. And I believe it is, I just lost my train.
That's okay, girl.
Everybody take a deep breath.
Take a deep breath.
I believe no matter what challenging life situations you've been through or what losses you've endured, you are absolutely capable of rising above to create fulfillment in all core areas of your life again with holistic solutions. It is so important that we take the time to have that awareness to realize where we're at and where we want to be. And that's where I help most often working with women struggling with stress, anxiety, tension, and depression, wanting natural solutions, but not knowing where to turn. That's where I'm giving back and loving them back to life.
Ooh, I love that, girl. Thank you so much for that. You mentioned a word there when you say talking about building up our core and strengthening our core. I really appreciate that because the core is like, for me, mind, body, and soul, like everything within you, right? It's like the foundation of you, your person, your who. My friend call it your who you are-ness. That's her word. And so I love that you talked about the core because I think that's very important, which brings me to what I want to kind of just talk about in our time tonight. We were talking earlier about what you do, and I want to just talk about this concept of holistic healing because I titled our conversation that. And some people believe in holistic healing and some people don't. Some people are like, the Western medicine does it for me. I take my pills and I'm good. But there's this holistic healing, the essence of, doing something different medicinal, like using other type of things. And so I want to talk to you about what would you say the difference for you that you've experienced between holistic healing from Western medicine?
Yeah, I think people get a little like weirded out by the word holistic. And really, to me, it means no toxins and chemicals in your body and in your home. And through my journey, I've created this lifestyle that when people are ready, they have to be ready. Some people just aren't there or never will be, and it's okay.
Yeah.
that's where we're at, and everybody do your own thing, kind of thing.
Yeah.
When they're really ready to have no toxins or chemicals in and on their body, they will see a complete difference. Just having comparing it to Western medicine, the side effects and all of the toxins and chemicals that are in it, that's what scares me. Because my mother was on antidepressants, and side effects are real. It is real. Though everything that you hear on the commercials, that is one of my missions and message to tell people when you're on these harsh medications, be careful. Because in my story, my mom hid it so well that no one knew she was having problems. And that's the thing now that I'm like, it's okay to feel all the feels. It's okay to be vulnerable. Tell me how you're really feeling. You know,
Yeah.
like, I'm good, I'm fine. I'm like, no, really, how are you doing today?
Are you referring to, I wanted to ask you a question really quick. Are you referring to she was hiding how she was doing as far as for her illness, or was she hiding taking the medication? Can you clarify a little bit?
Yes, I think she was hiding how she was feeling because we didn't know that she was in this deep depression, or she was just, she always seemed happy and loving on everyone else. And looking back now, she loved on everyone else. She didn't take that time for self-care and self-love. And that's another crucial thing that we need to have and create our own self-happiness. Because if we don't have that, that's when I was like, okay, this is what happened to my mother, and I don't want that to happen to anyone else. And the story is, should I get into that now?
Well, I want to save that a little bit for later, but I just appreciate you talking about that part. But I do want to go into a little bit deeper in reference to that. But I'm so grateful that you explained that a little bit, because I think that sometimes people don't realize that, I've taken Western medicine before. I've also done the holistic healing because I've had to, because the Western medicines began to not work for me any longer, right? So I had to do it both at some point in my life. But I am a firm believer that, the holistic approach does work too. And so I do want to talk about, because before we get into the story with your mom, which is going to be part of my next question after this one, I wanted to just kind of talk a little bit, because something that comes up for people is that there is a balance in the brain that's happening. Like, we're not doctors, and so we want you guys to know that we're not saying we're doctors here. We let the doctors do what they do, the psychologists do what they do, but we're talking about our own personal experiences, so you guys can understand that people have their own personal experiences that they've experienced with doctors, with non-doctors, with holistic advocates like yourself. But I wanted to talk a little bit because in dealing with mental illness, a lot of people, I know that I've heard the term that people feel like, their brain is broken or something like that. They can't get themselves, they can't think straight, and they feel horrible about the way they think sometimes. And so I wanted to ask you, do you believe that the brain can be healed? Like, is there a such thing? And tell me a little bit about your thoughts on that, if you can explain that.
Yes, I do believe that. And just getting down to the root cause and figuring out like what is going on. And most of the time it is gut health, and realizing that there's so much going on in our gut microbiome. And if that's not strong and healthy, then that is going to affect your immune system, your hormones, serotonin. 90% of serotonin, the happy hormone, is in our gut. And I found that, I've learned so much. And then the cortisol, the stress hormone, is in our gut. So if we heal that with natural plant-based solutions and specific strands for stress, anxiety, tension, and depression going on, heal that in our gut, and it helps our mental wellness and our brain function better.
Wow. You know what? I would have never paid attention to that, like that it's in the gut. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Like, with that said, like, are there any foods that are helpful, like in this area of healing your gut? Like,
I believe there's certain foods they should cut out. Like,
got you. Can you talk a little bit about that? Like, what were some things that are helpful for cutting out that affects, that part of our body?
Definitely. Gluten and sugar, like that is the
Mm,
main thing that causes the inflammation in our gut. And
mm.
people aren't willing to cut it out, you
That's
know?
a hard one for me.
I know.
Oh my
It
gosh.
is. It's a
Ah,
struggle. It's real. And but if you really want to get to the root cause, cut it out for a week and see how I feel. Like just try it out and different things and working with your body and just listening to it and give it what it needs.
that's, I mean, my doctors definitely told me that about sugar for sure, for sure. I've been able to cut the gluten, like I've been able to, bypass that, and that's worked for me because I do personally have had a lot of inflammation, and every now and then it'll just get huge. I'll have this big old belly, and it's like I got this smaller body, but this big belly hanging off of me, and I'm like, what is going on? And I know a lot of times it's like if I go back to what I've been eating, it's very clear. I can find out exactly what it is from that. I just go back over what I had that week, and it's very clear that's what it is. Oh, it was that pizza.
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah.
normally try to eat gluten-free pizza, but every now and then I'll have a cupcake that's not necessarily gluten. So I appreciate your sharing that because food is really huge in the areas of our gut. And so you feel like what you're saying is that foods also affects us because it's affecting our gut, it's affecting our mental health.
Oh yes. Like when you eat
Wow.
junk, you're gonna feel like junk. Pretty much like
Wow.
it's down
Wow.
to
That's a good point.
it. Yeah.
That is a good point. Thank you for that. Oh my goodness. I wouldn't have, to be honest, think about these things. And I'm glad we're having this conversation because I don't think a lot of people think about it. I read on your website because I had started to look at your website to see what you do and stuff before we had this conversation. And you talk about like, which I want to kind of like touch on a little bit, but you talk about, and you may have mentioned it just now, but if you can just go back to like tell us the three parts of the brain like that you mentioned on your website because I thought that was really unique and neat.
Yes. Yes. I talk about healing our three brains. The mind,
Yes, that
gut.
part.
The gut is our second brain, and the heart is our third brain. So having it
Mm,
all healthy and balanced is so important to feel that overall optimal wellness and to feel better and happy.
nice.
You deserve to be happy, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
If you're breathing, you should have some joy. If you're breathing, you know. So yes, thank you for that. That's amazing. Like I love that you do that. You do this work. Thank you. I wanted to just segue because you were talking a little bit about your mom, and I would like to just go there now because I think that a lot of people can benefit from. I think we all have someone in our life, if we haven't experienced it ourselves, some area of mental illness. If you could just share that personal experience with your mom and that journey there, I would love for people to know, what you experienced and what you did with that experience.
Yes. So this was back in 2005. No one talked about antidepressants or telling people how you feel or anything like that.
Yeah.
No one talked about it. I don't even remember her saying anything about it, like just sweep it on the rug and keep going, like, shh, don't tell anybody that you're on them kind of thing. And so we never really talked about it. We never knew anything was going on. But the big thing, my parents went on a cruise to celebrate their 25th wedding anniversary. And she thought the best thing to do when you're partying and drinking on a cruise, right, is to go off
Hmm.
medication. And that, you're not supposed to drink on them, but she thought that, oh, I'm gonna have fun, so I'm just gonna go off of them. So she went off of them for about 10 days while they were gone, and it was like back to life, back to reality when she got home, dealing with all of the things.
Yeah.
And I believe the chemical imbalance and the side effects of going off the harsh medication caused her to go to a hotel and take pills and alcohol and end her life. And
Wow.
it just like, it's so true. Like every time you hear those commercials, there's the side effect is suicide. And now it's this like, to say my mom died by suicide, it's just like, still like, whew, it was a traumatic loss of a lifetime. It was really hard. Um, I was 21, so it was like, oh, what do you do at 21? Drink and
Yeah.
party. Like I don't remember looking back. I don't remember. It was just like I blocked it all out. It's just a fog looking back now.
Mm.
Yeah, so that's why it's my mission and message to tell her story to help others. And if you're on it, stay consistent on it and try the holistic solutions on top of it. And if you're looking for something, try the holistic solutions first. If you want to have that change and have that awareness of getting better or feeling better, then there are solutions. We can do this.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, my condolences to you. I know it's been a while since it happened, but I just want to let you know that I appreciate you sharing that part of your story. I think when we originally talked, I didn't really know that, like that part. Just that, I mean, just you're young and you're starting off. Most people starting off their lives at that age, and you're having to do it without your mother. So I'm glad that you are becoming like this person who's creating a solution. And that's what I love about this story that you're sharing, is that you are solution oriented and you figured out, you're like going out there like, let me help you understand what this does and what happens. So I appreciate that. You mentioned something about the six. I couldn't quite get that. The six something you mentioned. Can you talk a little bit about that, or is that part of like them?
I talk about moving our spine in 6 different ways. Is that what you're talking about?
That, yeah, something like that. What is that? You mentioned that, and I'm like, I want to know more. And I know we're segueing a little bit with that one, but what is that?
Yeah, I believe it's important to. I learned it from a yoga instructor years ago to
Yeah.
move the spine in 6 different ways to get that old blood out and that new blood pumping through your spine and your whole body, and just a good way to start the day and stretch it out. Yeah.
Mm. So that's like helpful for like just that's kind of like a mental health awareness tool or tip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Got you. Thank you for that. You had said that, so I was like, let me talk back and see what she mentioned by that.
Yeah.
With dealing with your mom, like obviously you've discovered some things in just that situation. Would you say there are any myths with mental illness? Like if there's some myths, if you could explain like one that you experienced that that you had heard of, but then you had your experience with your mom that really showed you something different.
Yeah. I would say just the stigma and the judgment behind it all. We just never talked about it. And this is the most open and vulnerable I've been telling her story. And just realizing there's so much stigma about it, and it's okay to talk about it. That's
Mm,
all the judgments that we felt, and everybody wanting to whisper about it or whatever was going on that we felt. I want to stop that. Just like let's talk about it and be open. Like if you have questions, let's talk about it. Ask them.
yeah.
Let's get it out on the open.
Mm, thank you for that. I agree. I think that there's not enough talk about it. There's not enough talk about it because there's embarrassment or shame, or I don't know why that's put on there. I don't know if people come from backgrounds where it's put up on them to not talk about it. I'm not really sure what it is, but I can attest to I mean, even for myself, I think that there's been times where I was depressed, because depression is one of a mental illness, form. It's a situation where you're experiencing mental illness. And so I'm just like, I didn't really like the way that I felt, to be honest. So I didn't want anybody else. I didn't like it. So I didn't want anybody else experiencing what I didn't like either, because I was like, well, they're not going to like it either because I don't like the way I feel. So I appreciate you saying we need to talk about this because it's so helpful. And we're actually, to be honest, a lot of us are alike in experiencing it than not, right? There is a lot of it. And I think since the pandemic, you've seen more of it come about,
Yeah.
more people talk about it. You had mentioned earlier too that if we are taking the medication, we need to stick to it. You don't play around with it. You
instead of
don't like do it when you feel like it, because it's starting to shift, your body, right? Your mindset. So,
yeah.
what are some helpful habits that you think, besides, moving the spine, what are some other helpful habits I think that you came across when dealing with mental wellness? Like, what are some other helpful habits people can do?
Yeah, take that time for self care. One of my favorite affirmations is, "It is safe for me to honor my needs first." Because we need to take
Mm,
care of ourselves first. All the moms out there that just go, 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 that's where I'm like, okay, take those few minutes, 5 minutes, whatever you need to do for yourself. Do that little meditation and stretching for yourself. Like, take that time, make that time for yourself, because it is crucial for your day to
yeah.
have that for yourself. And a lot of people don't take time for it, and it is really important.
It really is. Thank you for sharing that. What would you say is one thing that you do? Because I know there are moms, there are, even dads out there that really, really work hard, and that's what they do. That's their jam. They believe they got to work hard to accomplish the things that they're trying to accomplish, or do the things they're trying to do. You
Yeah.
know, what did you do to create a discipline to take care of your self-care? Like, what do you do? Is there something, do you write in a journal? Do you just put on your calendar every Monday, I'm going to go and walk? I mean, what is it? Give me a practical.
Yeah, I feel like I've changed and evolved so many times throughout the years. Like, now I love to stretch and have that moment of meditation. It's just to have that moment of stillness and movement every day. And working out, I've been on a good Pilates routine lately, and just feeling the strength to feel like I'm good. When you like
Mm,
feel good, you look good, you feel even better, kind of thing. And I'm like,
yeah,
right, this is what my body needs next. Like, to feel better and more toned, and it's just like, that's what I needed, just to find that next thing that's going to help you in that moment, and have that awareness of when it's happening and what to do about it. Like, okay, so I like doing this. So every morning I'm going to do some kind of movement, and like a neuro tool. I call it neuro tools for your brain.
mm.
Do that fresh start, and having those good positive words and affirmations to start your day with is helps me a lot too.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Thank you. The affirmations are so powerful. I was not a firm follower of affirmations, probably just 5 years ago or 2 years ago, actually. I think in the last 2 years I've been doing it. But before that, I was like, I don't do that. I'm not going to go and tell myself I'm awesome. Like, I just would not do it. But they are so
Because it's hard.
powerful.
It's weird. It's awkward at first, and then just kind of like get used to it.
Yeah, it was awkward. I think
Yeah.
it was awkward, and I don't know how you grew up, but I never heard a lot of that growing up, where people were empowering themselves, or taking care of themselves. So it was foreign to me to see people do that. I was like, oh, okay, that good for her. I guess that's good. And then I would get cynical. I'm like, that stuff doesn't work. That doesn't work. I would get cynical, but after trying it, when I started applying it,
Yeah.
it was powerful.
Yeah. It's
And
like that
I
mindset shift. That mindset shift that you have to believe and receive, and then
mm,
it all happens and flows naturally.
believe and receive. I
Mm-hmm.
love those words. Thank you. Believe and receive. Those are great words, lady. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I want to hit a little bit, because I do have people, sometimes they ask questions or they comment. So I want to go over and check out some of these comments really quickly and see what people are talking about. Um, okay, someone said, they repeating what is holistic, no toxins or chemicals in your lifestyle. Taking care of others is important, but each of us needs to take care of the self first, so that
Mm-hmm.
we will have the reserves to give to others. Gut health will affect hormones. I thought that was really good. You were saying, because especially when you get to a certain ages, for women, there is something that changes with the hormones. So I appreciate you addressing the gut health with that. Gluten and sugar, oh no.
That's the hardest part. The desserts are my weakness.
Mine's too. And someone said, "Oh my goodness, no sugar," with three exclamation marks. Thank you for the information. It is awesome. And then mind, gut, heart, the three brains that need to be in alignment. And someone put, "I'm so sorry about the loss, your beautiful mom. Thank you for sharing your precious story. It means a lot. Thank you for sharing your story. Will help others in a similarly painful situation. It is safe for me to honor my needs first." And someone else put, "Thanks for sharing your story again," and gave you hugs.
Aw,
Um,
thank you.
so you guys, thank you so much. Facebook, that's all from Facebook for those comments, and whatever YouTube you're putting, we'll get to yours and get to see them later. But I definitely appreciate you guys all, chiming in and commenting like this, because this really helps, because we like to know what you're experiencing out there too, and if these conversations are actually helping you. So thank you for your comments. I wanted to talk a little bit with you because you mentioned it earlier, and you talked about balance, having a balanced life. And I wanted to ask you, do you feel like with when life is not balanced, is there a shake in the core, like the emotional, physically, and spiritual, um, or your core in that aspect? Do you feel like those get shaken and they're not in alignment with each other?
Oh yeah, when you're not balanced and you're not where you want to be, it's
Mm,
I feel like it's chaos. And so I just have that awareness now that I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be like this. So I need to figure out what to do right now to fix it.
mm.
Yeah. And there's
So
the
are you like a fixer? You're like, I gotta take care of this. Is that kind of like how your jam and how you operate?
yeah, so I say I don't sometimes I don't say it to the person, but I'm like, I'm secretly assessing your needs. I'm like, how can I help you right now? I'm like
Oh,
secretly
well,
assessing your needs and I'm like, okay, what do they need in this moment?
so
Yeah.
you're definitely like, so because you have that, you are a person who likes to help and provide help for people. So that makes sense too, that you would need to take care of your self-care, because if you're always giving out, you got to replenish, So I appreciate that. Um,
Yeah, my friend
I go ahead. What were you saying?
my friend called it help, like heal and help. You're helping people, and I'm like, that's a cute word.
Helping.
I want to use that.
I like that. That's different as neat. Help.
Yeah, I'm
She's
here to help you. I'm
helps
here to.
people. I love it. I can totally relate to being imbalanced. There were times like, when I felt like physically strong, physically good, but spiritually, if I was off, I would feel sluggish in my body. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so my physical aspect would get off, and then emotionally, I would be reacting to stuff, you know. And so that's kind of like for me a barometer. Like if I'm reacting, I know that something's not balanced. So what would you say for you? Like, is there a clear indicator for you when you're not balanced?
Oh yeah, when you get moody and when I get moody and tired, if they're or hungry, like all the things, you're like,
Mm,
okay, there's something going on here. I'm like, just have that moment to take a deep breath. I'm like, okay, yes, I am hungry. I am tired. I need to like eat something and take a nap if it's possible. Most of the time, it's not in that moment, but that's what I need.
yeah, yeah.
And
Wow.
need a nap. But
And yeah, we all need to acknowledge our bodies like that. I think
yeah,
it's good to acknowledge the body. And so, you guys, as you're listening, that's a good tool for you out there to really, for balance, is to acknowledge your body, acknowledge what you're doing, acknowledge what you're thinking, acknowledge your gut when you're bloating, acknowledge when you're reacting, acknowledge all that, because when we acknowledge that stuff, we have somewhere to work towards, somewhere to go to. But if it's never acknowledged, you don't have anything that you're working with. And we're all continuing to grow and learn more about ourselves, right?
yeah.
So, yes. Now
Seven
you,
core, in my coaching program, I learned 7 core areas, and they all start with F: fitness, finance, family, faith, field, your career, friends, and fun. And to have it all 7 balanced and growing is a lifelong journey, because you're like spinning all
Ooh.
the plates kind of thing, and one gets a little low, and you gotta keep it all balanced, all 7. And being
Mm,
physically healthy to me is mentally and physically healthy. So
nice.
it's a lot. Yeah.
Oh, can you repeat those 7 again? Because I
Yeah.
want someone to write that in the chat. Repeat those
Fitness.
7 again.
Yeah. Fitness, finance, family, faith, field, your career, friends, and fun. And that's the oola la kind of life. That's my oola life coach certification. And it is creating the oola la life. Like, if you have all 7 balanced and growing, which it takes a lot to get it all there,
Mm,
but when you are, it feels good, and your whole body, and you have that mental wellness in your whole body.
I like that, Amy. That's good stuff, girl. I'm going to use those 7. I'm grabbing that for myself. I love it. Now, I want to move a little further with this, because I know that you, with those 7, is that something that you say you use in your practice as a coach? Um, when you're thinking about, you talked about on your website that you actually help people release their emotions. Is that 7 steps techniques that you use? Is there anything else that you would say is a technique that you use for that? Because I thought that was pretty neat and just interesting with helping people release their emotions. What does that look like for you? Like, can you give me an example?
Yes. Okay. So it goes deep. So it's hard to like explain in a second, because I just like have to do it, But
Got you.
it's just getting down to the core of what's going on, and a lot of it is the energy and the 5G
Okay.
energy that's all the satellites going up right now, that is affecting us, and clearing,
Mm,
and our cell function is so low because of that. To get our cell function back up and functioning properly, so when we take the good nutrients and the supplements that our body needs, that we are able to absorb it at a cellular level.
mm.
So clearing that and doing an energy healing is part of the process, and it's really important. Yeah.
Wow. Now,
Yeah.
is that something you do with touch, or is it just done with like you're just standing next to somebody, or like how? I mean, I know we can't go into it. People, y'all have to, if y'all want to get deeper, you guys got to call Amy for that. But
Book a
like,
consultation. We'll talk about it. Yeah.
but is there touch involved with that?
Yes.
Okay, okay, got you. Okay, that makes sense. And you also, thank you for sharing that, by the way. I appreciate that. And you also do this thing where you make your own essential oils. Is that something that you offer in your practice as well? You use oils, essential oils, because it is a natural substance for
Yeah.
healing. I do believe oils heal. What is your insight that you could share about how beneficial oils would be for anyone dealing with mental illness?
Yes, I make a lot of my own products, because there's so much toxins and chemicals in every product now, that I was just like, I don't know who and what to trust anymore. So I'm just gonna make my own.
Mm,
So I started with essential oils. That was part of my first journey in getting into the holistic healing, and realizing that I can make my own deodorant, and I can make my own body wash, and having the roller balls with essential oil to roll on your wrist, and just like take that deep breath in that moment, and
wow.
yeah, make it. And I'm gonna make sprays, and I'm actually gonna be at a doing a wellness booth tomorrow, selling these things and talking about mental wellness and all the things. So I'm excited to be there tomorrow too.
Wow. So you've made stuff that rolls on the wrist.
Yeah. The rollerballs.
Wow, that sounds pretty cool. Now, is there any supplements that you actually take that are like herbs? Do you do that too?
Yes, I believe we're not getting all of the proper nutrients that we get from food nowadays. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
with all the additives and all the junk in there, we it's hard to trust your food. If I say now, like, if there's a paragraph on the back, and if it's a box or frozen, it's probably not good for you.
You know, someone told me that. Someone told me that before about the food. Like if it's a full, like you know what, how healthy the food is by how much is in there.
Yeah,
Like
and if
if
you
it's a paragraph.
yeah,
And now it's so funny because I will look at the food now and I will look at what's these ingredients. And if it's this much, I just put it back in the freezer.
like nope. And canola oil, like all the bad things that just mess up your gut microbiome. Like
Mm.
yeah,
Well,
don't even
canola oil is not good.
no, that's like the
Wow.
worst thing to put in your body.
Wow.
Don't
Which oil is really good? Is olive oil good? Olive oil.
olive oil. I personally use coconut oil and avocado oil, organic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Coconut or avocado. Okay. I haven't tried either of those actually. Thank you for the education. I actually I love olive oil. Like I take our olive oil for my voice too, like
Oh,
this to coat it to soothe the vocal cords as a singer. Yeah, so olive oil has definitely worked for me, but I've never tried the avocado. So that's something, and I like avocado. So that might be something I should consider
yeah.
taking.
It doesn't have much flavor or anything.
It okay, so it's probably bland like olive oil almost.
Pretty much.
The
Yeah.
olive oil is very bland. Wow. You know, I am a firm believer of the herbs too. I've not used as much essential oils, but I would definitely be interested. Do you like have some samples?
Yeah, I could send you
I
some
would love
stuff.
to get
No, we're not that far away. You're in LA?
yeah, so yeah, you're at or is it
Maybe
Orange
two
County?
hours. No,
Did you
Oceanside. So we're probably
you're in
about 2 hours.
Oceanside? Yeah, you moved there. You just recently moved there, right?
2 hour drive. I mean, I'm like half an hour east now, but I say Oceanside because nobody knows Fallbrook.
Okay. Well, I know I've heard of Fallbrook.
Okay, good.
Yes, I've heard of Fallbrook. Yeah, I would love to get some, but I have been taking I take enzymes because my gut has been messed up for a while. I had to, but they're all natural. So I've had to take the enzymes to digest food because I had to stop eating meat because I wasn't digesting it anymore. So I definitely know how I will say that when there's something going off in my gut, I definitely can feel the difference mentally and emotionally.
Oh,
I can feel the difference that something's wrong because I am moody, like you talked about, and it's all because there's no balance there. There's a lack of balance. So I just have to. I know for me, I have to just be disciplined because I know that I need to take care of that part of me because I've had to for so many years, and I've done well at it. It's just like getting back to
the
doing what you need.
consistency and routine of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I appreciate you really digging and diving into the fact that it is affecting our mental wellness.
Yes.
That is really what I appreciate you talking about tonight. Like, if we don't really acknowledge these things, we're going to continue to have these imbalances. So I really appreciate you talking and us having this conversation tonight. Are there any other final words that you would leave for people? I'd also like for you to leave your information because you know some people out there might want to have a deeper dive with you and talk a little bit more deeper about your work as an energy healer and how you use your oils and all this stuff and even more holistic ways that they can take care of themselves. So can you tell us a little bit where people could find you and any last words you may have?
Yes, how important it is to find the plant-based supplements and solutions. I became a wellness partner with Amari because they are the mental wellness company, and they
Mm,
are working with every product is designed for gut brain health. And the the world's first quad biotic just came out, and it's probiotic, prebiotic, phytobiotic, and postbiotic. And we really need all four now to heal our gut microbiome. And the probiotic is for the inflammation and helps with the activities in your body and your gut
mhm.
microbiome. And the prebiotic helps control the cravings. The phytobiotic decreases stress and helps you sleep. And the postbiotic helps you reduce that belly fat. And that's the most important to get rid of. It's dangerous. So just realizing there are, and it's all plants grown from the earth that we could heal. And there's an amazing drink that's mango leaf leche fruit palm fruit extract for mood, motivation, metabolism, and inflammation, and all the things to help our bodies and our guts feel better. And there's some, I take it all, there's what called Mood Plus. It's all the plants and herbs to replace people's antidepressants. So people are starting to take it, and they're able to wean off their antidepressants, and it's amazing.
Wow. I'd love to know more about that too. That's maybe something we could have a sidebar on. But I thank you for really just dropping that information. I had a question for you, because I would love to know this before we close out. For me, in my gut and all the challenges I've had, and this has been going on for years, I've tried different probiotics. I even had a young lady, she sent me a sample of some probiotics that would help my gut, and I literally got sick from them. They gave me headaches. So what are your thoughts on that? Because how would a person know that something in even the natural stuff is affecting them, and what is happening? Do you have any information on that?
You're getting the good stuff and your body's just getting used to it, or it's really just not good for you. You have to just like prove it and see what's going to work. Yeah.
So you have to keep trying different things just to see what will work for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want more information and this is resonating with you, book a consultation. Yeah. You can book it at liveLaughAndLoveWithAmy.com and go to Amy Arends 11 on Instagram, and I have a link tree on there, and all the information's on there too.
Cool. Cool.
Codes and free and all the things. Yeah.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you so much. This conversation has been beautiful. So you guys heard that from Amy Arends, who is totally, this is her expertise, y'all. She knows what, and I lost her for a second. So I lost her. I don't know what just happened with her internet, but I appreciate you guys listening, tuning in. And the cool thing is we got all the good stuff before the internet closed down on her. Oh my gosh. Amy, we really appreciate you being here tonight. I know you cannot hear me, but if you watch this later, you'll know that I'm thanking you. YouTube, thank you guys for watching. Facebook, thank you guys so much for watching it and spending your Friday night with us. I appreciate you, and I hope this information was helpful for you. Please, if you need to get in touch with Amy, again, that's at Amy Arends, AMYARENSS. You can find that. You can also see her handle here for Instagram. That is Amy. It's right there. I don't have to read it off. You guys can see it. So she's not able to be on. I guess I just lost her. First time that's happened where someone completely got off the screen. But technology, that happens, y'all. Y'all know we're just dealing with computers and internets, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. But I really appreciate you guys watching. I want to encourage you to take care of your mental health. Make sure you do something for you. Make sure that you spend the time taking care of your own life, because it is your life, and you get that opportunity, you get that chance. As long as you're here breathing another day, you have another opportunity to take care of you. So with that said, make it a good day, because y'all know y'all can. Thank you guys so much for watching.